Hello, everyone. Welcome to a fresh episode of Shagalinku. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and it's good to be back with you here again. And don't forget to join us every Sunday from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., where we do the music program ARTV Sunday Splash. Okay, for today's edition, we'll be looking at a whole lot, and I have a guest in the studio. I will be sharing her details later on. But for now, just sit back, relax. Let's take a quick music break. When we come back, you'll get to know everything we will be discussing on today's episode of Shagalinku. Remember, you can watch us on all platforms. When you go to the app Play Store, search for Free TV, download Free TV, and then scroll up all channels. You see ARTV kind of on that, and then you can watch us from across the world. Yippee! So let's take this quick music break. When we come back, I'll let you in on everything we have on Shagalinku. I'll be back. I have a guest in the house. She's a health literacy expert. She's also a gender inclusion and development expert. One more, she's a girl education advocate. If I start to call all her titles, we won't even live here. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me Dr. Mrs. Dinatu Dama Maji. Let me clap for her.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so
We
happy.
have been trying to have this interview with, let me report you to them. We have been trying to have this interview with Dr. Dinatu, and she's always busy.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm super excited. I feel honored, and I can't wait for us to get discussion going and to share.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again. For
Yeah,
having me.
we appreciate. And it's a good thing you are here, because we want to look at issues that young girls face in the North, issues surrounding the girl child education. How was it like growing up for you?
And there's this thing I say mostly when I'm talking about myself and context. The uniqueness of context and its peculiarity is actually beautiful, because while it gets to damage a lot of destinies, cripple dreams and aspirations, for some of us it has actually shaped us. It has built us and made us who we are. We're not there yet,
Yeah.
but we're still growing.
Sure.
I am a northerner, like you know, a typical Hausa girl, because I was born and brought up in the heart of Kano, and I grew up in the typical Kano community. It will interest you to know I attended Kano public schools.
Wow.
Yes, public. I'm not talking about the tertiary
The
institution,
tush
federal
one.
owned. Yes, the typical Kano government-owned public school. What has this done to me, particularly growing up? Environment has shown me that inclusion is a one-sided thing. When inclusion is mentioned growing up, it's a constant reminder that you are not part of it. When inclusion is mentioned, you could just see that it is not for you. So inclusion was a word that does not exist in the girls' world. When dreams and aspirations are mentioned, they are being talked about, they are strictly being talked about using a male gender lenses. So as a girl child growing with so much dreams, so much aspiration, the possibility of achieving them was very narrow, even though I am from a family that has an orientation of pursuing dreams. My father has always told me, go get it. In fact, at a very early age, my father was also already calling me a leader. He calls me Sugar Bar till today. But it was difficult. Difficult in the sense that society has these norms, and you want to break a circle. It has strengthened me sincerely, because I've developed self-motivation. When I speak to young people and they ask me your motivation, I tell them it's self mostly. You don't tell me I cannot do it and I'll feel bad. I want to prove you wrong. So that is what growing up as a girl child in a typical Kano setting has done to me.
Oh, wow. So for our viewers who are watching right now, who is the Dr. Dinatu? You know, aside all the various caps you wear, who is she, and how are you able to wear all this cap and still maintain family?
Okay, family is a topic I don't like discussing because I always say I'm not a marriage counselor. But presently now, I am the Northwest Vice President, United Government Exchange Alumni Association Nigeria. I am a sitting board member of Yali RLC Alumni Nigeria. I am a sitting board member of some organizations, community-based organizations. I'm the executive director of Kasham Community Development Initiative. I also serve in other offices in different capacities. But beyond all these titles, I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 3 amazing children. And working in this space, how has it been? Because I'm still a student.
Life teaches you every day.
Yeah,
True.
yeah. So I'm still a student journeying through life experience. I'm still a student doing programs in universities, in the academia, because I believe in intentional capacity building, because you cannot give what you don't have.
True.
So learning from me is an everyday thing. These offices and what I do, basically, I've been, with years of experience, I've worked in the health literacy space. Because of my role in the gender space, a lot of people forget that I'm first a health person. So where sexual and reproductive health right comes in, I'm able to balance it rather, because of my specialty and my profession. So my experience working as consultant on different projects, on gender project, has actually shaped me. So wearing these caps become very easy because I am a multitasker. So it's easy to wear these caps and just do. And for how I get to manage work, career, personal life, and home, I think every woman, sorry if I'm biased, every woman has the ability to do this. Sometimes, is it overwhelming? Yes. Do I sometimes break down? Yes. Do I need to take a time out? Yes. But once you are able to be sincere to yourself, know when to take a break, know when to take rest, know when to study, know when to give out, know when to take in, it has actually shaped me. I am the person that is difficult to see all over the place. So yes, I get to miss some functions. Yes, I get to turn down some invitations. Others I get to delegate, but I'm not all over the place. I understand myself, I understand my system, and I know when I best fit what. It has actually worked for me.
Wow. Yeah, we're still on here with Dr. Mrs. Dinatu, and the program is Shagalinko. We're looking at issues of women empowerment, girl child education, and what more girls can do to maybe stay in school and finish school. How important is education for the girl child? You know, having that experience of how you grow up and how people were able to support and let you live your dream. A lot of girls might not be as fortunate or have male figures around them that will push them to start or live their dream. You always particularly talk about your father and the male figures who are around you. So for the girl child, how important is it for them to have access to education?
Access to education, we like the popular saying that education is light. Like you mentioned, I have a lot of primary and secondary school mates that are already grandmas. Being a grandma is a beautiful thing, particularly if you're not 40 yet. But what this has done to them is it has crippled dreams. A lot of beautiful dreams that they will only wish came to light. Education is the bedrock to achieving these dreams. Even if you want to be a hairdresser from your home, you would find out that the difference between an educated hairdresser and an uneducated hairdresser is crystal clear. Why would it be clear? Because the packaging, the branding, the service delivery, and this also increases the level of our financial stability as well as our productivity. What will it do? It will also make her the employer of others. If as an educated hairdresser you're able to advance your business, register it, you can employ other hairdressers around you. So education serves as this prerequisite, right, for quality productivity. And that is why you find out that today we have more males in that sector achieving more goals, doing big things, because there's this basic education they're able to attain. While a lot of young girls, particularly in the north, are stopping at primary and secondaries, they get to further. They get to own an NC, they get to be a BSc holder, they get to even attend a degree. But a lot of girls actually stop. Stopping maybe because of home front activities, stopping because of load that comes with being a mother, the psychological implication of taking care of a home, trying to balance it. Now, when those supports, those male figure support is not there, especially when she's making effort to learn and it's being truncated by someone that is deliberate in and not allowing her to learn, you find out that she just have to let it go. Because being a mother first is her reality, so she have to let it go. So having someone that is a constant support has actually made a lot of us skill. It gives you this push that you cannot make it in a society where there are no opportunities. Those push are not there, those claps are not there, those motivations are not there. We have a lot of women now, very few that are doing amazing, particularly in Kano State. In the banking sector, we have women in tech, persons like Dinatu Dama. We have a lot of women, just few that are upcoming now, even in politics. You find out that a good number of them are all educated, and their motivation comes from home. So having to intentionally educate the girl child goes just beyond doing her a favor, but it's putting her on the right path to achieving her life goals. And what the society tend to forget is whosoever the girl child grows to become, she is first a representation of herself, her family, her community, her state, her country, and her region. So it's not about her, it's about the people she represents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful one. So I'd like you to also touch on the fact that how do we even begin to make sure that these girls, because it's one thing for them to go to school. Along the way, when you check statistics, a lot of them fall off. Like you said, some get the burden of, getting married. If they don't get married, some end up with maybe teenage pregnancy. Some are also used as exchange for lands and debts that their parents owed. So how can we, maybe from the government or from the civil society, how can we begin to make sure these girls go to school, stay in school, and complete their studies?
Beautiful. So to address this, you have to talk about policies. Do we have those policies? Yes, we do.
Implementation.
Now, the implementation of those policies, having structural implementation of those policies. So I will not be talking about whether those policies are there, because we already have good number of policies that could actually make this scalable. But are we implementing them? Now, intentional implementation of our existing policies first before making new one is going to do amazing. Seeing that a girl child starts school and go through it. We have been talking about reintegration back to school a lot now. Is it happening? No. You will not understand that it's not happening, or you will not believe that it's not happening until you go to these rural communities, just few kilometers. You will see a lot of girls out of school. Why do we even need to go to local government? So if there's intentional structural implementation of educational system, particularly in favor of the girl child, this will no longer be an issue.
Yeah. Okay, let's touch this before we even go for break. You've also talked about the father figure that you've had. I was in a function and I was saying that men are still the patriarchal issues. Yeah. They are the ones who form these policies that you talk about. Yeah. Very few women are even in the houses of assembly. So how can women talk about their issues when they are not part of that system? Yeah. So how can we, in the interim, begin to also use the male factors in the home front? Because, government might decide to say, okay, every home, bring 3 children, government will give them a free education. Many homes will likely push their male child to benefit from such things. So how can the male figures of homes, the uncles, the fathers, the brothers, who at the end of the day are the patriarchal ones who will decide who goes to school, how can we use them now to be able to say, hey, women or girls can contribute to the society's growth, push these girls in? How can we begin to maybe soft land and beg them if we need to?
Yeah, there was a time, particularly in northwest states, where we were having a lot of pregnant women dying. The rate of maternal mortality it skyrocketed, and it was alarming. Now, the reason for that was lack of female nurses. and female doctors, because nobody wants his daughter to proceed in school to the higher level. So it resulted to a lot of maternal mortality. First, back to what I mentioned earlier. When she's productive, she's still your child.
Sure.
When she's productive, she remains your child. She remains your niece. She remains someone from your streets. She remains someone from your state. Some of the people we pride in now, we pride in Malala, we pride on, she's someone's child. Now, having the mindset that no matter what or who a girl child becomes, it does not change the fact that if that massages your ego, please, she's still under you. That's the word I think the people like to hear. She's still under you. So if knowing that no matter who you become, you are still my child, and you're grateful to have that person, I think you don't have any reason to try to be a stumbling block to that person's dream. It is important that our male figures, our uncles, our brothers, our fathers, understand that inclusion does not change relationship status. It only adds flowers to your family. Now, if someone is in need and you have the governor of Kano State as your daughter, and you're able to speak to her on policy issues and get it done, she's your child. It's first your pride. It's the pride of your family. It's the pride of your state. And there's this saying around that if we have a lot of women in governance, that half of our issues, or almost all of our issues, will be solved. Wearing the lens of motherhood, wearing the lens of intense empathy, now not sympathy, wearing the cap of critical thinking that comes from being a mother. You see how mothers maneuver and solve family problems.
Multitask.
Yes, when our fathers are at least thinking of the problem, the solution is already there. You go home and you know you left nothing, and you're thinking, oh, my children are starving, and you come home and there's meal for you. So they bring in that thought that if we have it in this space, our problems are solved. Now that's the same cap. That's the same lenses, rather, that male figures should be looking at females. Giving females opportunity to intentionally pursue dreams does not change them from being women. They are still women. They are still girls, and they are still women, and will still be under you, if that makes you feel any better as a man. And you still own them. Let's leave it at that. You still own
in
them.
quotes,
Yes.
because it's not coming from your belly.
Yeah, no, no. That is, some people need their egos to be massaged.
True.
So if she's still a medical doctor, so now we have some parents being intentional about allowing their children to be nurses. It's still a shame, or a reality, a glaring reality, that you go to our government-owned schools for only females, and you find out that 60% of the teachers are male figures, where you have 2,000-3,000 students in one session or afternoon session. So how will those girls be open, and how will they speak freely about sex education? How will they confide in them about menstrual cramps issues, where they are not being free and comfortable? So it means that even in this space, there's still gaps, and if we are unable to fix these gaps, we will still have issues. So having men to be intentional and deliberate allies towards allowing the girl child pursue her dreams is going to actually combat this as an issue.
So,
yes. See yourself as ally. Pride in the impact and the productivity she's able to make for herself. It's not about her really. It's about the family representation. It's about the community's representation. If a community is able to produce 10 gynecologists, oncologists in Kano, it does not change the fact that those girls, those women are from that community. And that's when you start hearing names like Dinatu Gezawa, Dinatu Ungogo. Because that she's first, we find out most women bear that. You go to Bayero University, you see female doctors bearing Dr. Hadiza Lambata. That's the pride of our community. And someone that don't know her from Lambata can just come and say, I am from Lambata. And you see how these persons are trembling to attend to this person, because that's the pride of where they are coming from. So men need to see women and girls pursuing dreams as their product, and relate with them as allies, seeing that they owe them the responsibility to help their dreams come to light.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break. We've been talking about Malala's father and Malala. Let's take a video clip where he was also talking about something. We'll come back and then we'll be wrapping up with our guest, Dr. Mrs. Dinatu.
Also known around the world as Malala's father, Mr. Dinatu.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. Really so nice to be back in Abuja and seeing these lovely faces. Some of you I have already met so many times. I can't name everyone because I don't want to be for so long on stage. I have been to Pakistan in the last 15 months only 3 times. That's my homeland. But Nigeria is like also home. Because I visited Nigeria 5 times in the last 18 months. And there is a feast. And the bride helps in washing hands of the men. So my wife helped all other men like my brother, my father, cousins, helped them in washing their hands. But when my turn came, I stopped her. I washed my hands myself. And this was an emotional moment for my wife because she was seeing a different man. So sometimes social change begins just by washing your hands yourself.
Welcome back. It's still Shagalinku here. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari. Let's also come back to the issue of menstrual hygiene. I know a lot of times it's usually not talked about, and there's no way we can talk about the girl-child education and we don't mention how we can support the girl-child to manage menstrual hygiene and manage education. Because unlike the boy-child that can go from day 1 to day 30 without any squabbles, except he decides not to go to school, the girl child is forced at least once a month to stay out of school if not well managed, and that affects her studies. So how do we begin to rally around young girls to even help them know their menstrual cycle? Shockingly, many mothers don't even know about menstrual hygiene, not to talk of teaching their kids, their daughters. So how do we begin to do this, and how can we support the girl child?
All right, thank you so much. This is actually a timely question. Seeing that we have our children now have access to tech, have access
Social
to
media,
digital space, and some of them don't even know how to use it. A lot of them don't know how to use it. So there are a lot of information flying there, and you can only they are just taking it in. You know, no filters, nobody get to filter it, nobody get to help them understand how to digest it. I think first it is important that mothers understand their roles as mothers. Even though we know that yes, the economy is hard and marriages have hitches, husbands are misbehaving, whatever family issues are surrounding mothers concentrating, but at every point of a woman's life, it is important to often as you can educate your children on menstrual education and sex education. Why you need to do that is to avoid them learning it from outside, is avoid someone misguiding your child, is avoid your children having access to unfiltered informations that can actually affect their faiths, based on your religion, that can actually affect their culture based on your cultural and tradition. So irrespective of who you are, you must have a certain cultural setting that guides and protects your family. You have religious belief where that is a standard for your family's existence. So it is important you do it in line with your faith, in line with your culture, so that they would understand. I think that shapes and forms their identities as women growing up. That's why when you speak to a child, you say, don't forget where you're coming from. Those are some of the things you've inculcated that can make you actually brag about where they are coming from. Also, I think in school setting, I don't know if it's the role of the educational counselor, but there should be intentionality in teaching sex education and in also teaching menstrual hygiene management, either from the guidance and counseling unit or from the teachers that are responsible for subjects that has to do with health. Now, it is not about teaching them for knowledge, academic knowledge. That's my word now. It is about teaching them in order to understand how the biologies of their system works and how the reality of this comes, because it comes with menstrual cramp. While some don't get to experience it in a certain age of their lives, others, it starts with it. They should also know when this menstrual cramp needs medical attention, because some of them are actually caused, those intense cramp pain are actually caused by infections. Those infections could be from the toilet. Some young girls even share pad. They share panties, undies. So it is important that this education is being done in school, in an academic environment, so their parents get to do it at home. When emphasis is made in school, it's balanced, and they get to freely ask questions either to their parents or ask the school. So it's balanced. We'll find out that when they get asked, when they have these unfiltered informations on social media, they are able to filter and just debunk, this is a lie. My teacher said this, and my mom said this. You've built the rock as far as this conversation is concerned. So any other information that's coming, it is quick for them to be the judge. It's quick for them to either come back, it strikes curiosity, and they will feel safer to come to you to actually share,
Ask
have
more
these
questions,
discussions, because
yeah.
you started it. But if you don't start it, they would want to read more. They
And
want to
explore.
listen more, and they would want to explore. So to avoid, it's intentional. And I think another thing that we should be looking at is provision of sanitary pad. Have been talking about menstrual hygiene too, is actually a very broad topic on its own, but it is important that looking at how expensive it is now, the affordability, because I'm just mentioned infection, and to avoid these infections we talked about, you find that some of them are still using rag pieces, and whether or not, sometimes you get to live in a congested compound where all your brothers are there. You cannot even properly dry the pieces of rag that you use for sanitary for the menstrual cycle, so you go under bed where it develops fungi and bacteria, and you still put it in your body, because you cannot even dry it in the toilet. You cannot, is it parlor, you come and dry that one. So it's healthier, it's still healthier to use sanitary pad. But are sanitary pad affordable when our parents are looking at how to buy rice and Maggi and oil? So it is important that government look at a subsidy, particularly to companies that are producing these sanitary pads. Government can even produce sanitary pads. Government can start an intentional production of sanitary pad, so that it is going to be affordable, accessible. We know it's available, but it's not affordable. So that it's going to be, and again, government can actually, particularly for students in government-owned school, because we already know it is what it is. We cannot even say it's not true. Most of the students that actually are in government school are students from financially low background.
Peasant family.
Yeah, so if the government can actually make these sanitary pads available, free during school. If I know I get to come to school and I have a sanitary pad to change in the toilet, I will. I don't even want to talk about the state of the toilet. But if it is even going to be in the staff room with health officer, so I'll just go and get it and go to the toilet and change, I will be happy to do that, and I will come to school. So it is important that government look at providing for schools, making sure that school just monitor the distribution, so that students will not take, pupils will not take advantage of it. Make sure it's being distributed, and also the management of its waste, so that the availability of the sanitary pad does not become a health hazard to the girls.
Environmental, yeah.
So, and I think government should also create and strengthen partnership with these companies that are already producing, so that we'll look at a problem now while government look at production later. So if government can actually bring all these distributors and production companies on board and discuss with them about prices. I think the cheapest of sanitary pads now is 500 naira per pack, and it's those ones that have maybe 4 or 3 pieces inside, and that is maybe just for a day or two. Some have their flow 3, 4, 5 days, even 7, those that have menstrual disorder. So to help, I think it's important that government brings them on the table, that nobody is going to die if we buy sanitary pad at 200. Let's talk about subsidizing. Let's talk about having it available and just easy to buy, as as though you're buying a sachet of water.
Okay. I'll ask you the last question here, and then we'll wrap up and take our entertainment gist and other things. But let me even ask this here: that does peer pressure also affect girls in the way that it affects their education, and in this era of get quick rich syndrome, where girls are showing off the latest iPhones, they need to also survive. Sadly, even from the home front, a lot of pressure comes from the parents who tell them, no be your mates, they do this, or no be your mates, they do this. Indirectly pushing these girls to want to maybe sell their body for gratifications and all of that. How can they also begin to deal with this peer pressure and be able to stay focused as girls?
The issue of peer pressure, particularly from the home front, has actually affected a lot. I've met a lot of women that are advanced in age and advanced in the career space, and they will tell you how pressure from their parents made them resilient enough to actually pull through their dreams, because either at some point their parents were insisting they should do this or do that or make certain decisions for survival, not for them as individuals but for the family to thrive through poverty. In an era of iPhones, particularly, as shameful as it sounds, every girl wants to trend, because the quality of picture you post on the digitals, as funny as it sounds, determines the gadget you are using. So nobody wants to post a blurry picture. There was a time one of my staff said, "Ma, please buy iPhone, even for disrespect, even for this tease." And I told her I will not buy. I told her we did BlackBerry, we did all that, and that was just it. But and late I realized that the pressure. I think she went for an engagement and someone mentioned it here casually, and she felt offended because they were talking about me. So this is not in the home. This is in the career space. So imagine what is happening in school, where now these girls get to go to phones with school. Yes, it has actually made a lot of them lost focus in the academia, because they've seen others in their space that are not interested in your education, but they come to school in the name of coming to school and still get to have time to do other things just for survival. So they feel, why do I need to be a good girl when even my auntie that is a graduate is still looking for a job? It is important that the home gives shape the moral, beyond the moral, but even the thought, mindset about get rich quick and the essence of education. Now, if you don't understand what education is, you will mistake it to a part of wealth. Yes, it will give you that. That's one of the benefits you get. Now, but it is important that parents are more intentional about the productivity mindset first. Productivity comes in always different forms. There's economic productivity, there's psychological productivity, mental productivity, and you have it all. The list is countless.
Endless.
Yeah. So it is important that parents should stop tying academic excellence to wealth. Because if the goal is to become rich at the end, of course we have graduates that are unemployed. But if those graduates, other graduates that are already doing other things in terms of entrepreneur, even animal husbandry, are they flying? Yes, they are. What is shaping it? Why are they different from the regular other farmers? Because of their level of academic exposure, because they get to exploit the use of digital tools, they get to partner and collaborate, they get to build smooth partnership. What makes them that? What builds them? What shaped them? Their education and academic background. So I mentioned earlier about just being a hairstylist. What shapes you and makes you different from the other hairstylist that has a shop on your street for 40 years? And you start, and maybe your husband is not even allowing you to open a salon outside. Your salon is inside the compound, but you get more patronage, and you are even an employer of persons. Is your level of academic exposure. So parents should shy away from motivating a girl child to go to school because of economic stability, but because of self-worth, self-identification, to discover purpose and to actually fly. Now, flying goes, because if you look at the definition of education itself, it goes just beyond academic exposure
Excellence,
and
yeah.
academic excellence and academic success. It's about the complete shaping of oneself. There is morality. Are we saying those people, other people that do not go to school, don't have good morals? Of course they do. But we're talking about all round now, in all forms. Your ability to understand that, see, I am confused and I need to speak to someone to guide me through building this career path is academic exposure. Is the level of your educational exposure. You know that speaking to an expert will only shape you, not actually make you feel intimidated. So looking in depth at what education does to your mind, it does to your achieving set goals beyond economic set goals, does a lot. You get to be a leader, you get to be productive beyond just you, but to the community, to the society, and to the environment, even the state and the country at large.
Yeah. So let's take this break, and our correspondent will be taking us on entertainment gist. We'll come back, we'll be wrapping up on this episode of the program Shagalinku.
If it's trending, buzzing, or shaking the culture, you already know we've got it right here. Welcome to Shagalinku Entertainment Gist, your front row seats to everything music, movies, and pop culture. Let's get straight into it. Starting with music, it looks like Rema is getting ready for a big comeback. A snippet of an unreleased track is already making waves online, and fans are loving the sound. No official dates yet, but if this is a preview, 2026 might be another big year for him. Still on new music, Arya Starr has officially announced her next album titled Star Girl, set to drop in July 2026. With her track record, fans are expecting something bold, fresh, and global. And speaking of big wins, Asake is breaking records again. His latest album, Money, just hit #1 on the UK Apple Music charts, making him the first African artist to achieve that milestone with 5 different projects. Now, that is serious dominance. Away from music to some ring action, Kataife just defeated Portable in a celebrity boxing match. And trust Kataife, he didn't waste time claiming a new title. He says it's no longer Anthony Joshua, it's Kata Mayweather. Globally, something interesting is happening. Michael Jackson is back at #1 as the world's top digital artist. And guess what? It's all thanks to his biopic, Michael, which is breaking records and bringing his music back to life across streaming platforms. And finally, fashion meets drama and creativity at the Met Gala 2026. From bold outfits to unforgettable moments, stars like Beyoncé and Bad Bunny showed up and showed out in style. And that's your dose on Shagalinku Entertainment Gist, where the culture lives and the stories never stop. We are your plug for everything trending. Stay tuned.
In really an educative one, talking with Dr. Dinatu. But before we close, I'd like her to have final words to the society, to parents, to the girls themselves, because no matter what we do, the buck stops in your front. As a girl, when it gets to your turn, you need to be that change that you deserve. So, your final words, ma'am, as we wrap up.
Okay, thank you so much again for having me. To the girl child, it is important to know that hurdles will be there. People will be intentional in trying to stop you. Will you then stop dreaming big? No. Dream big. Pursue your dreams. Be deliberate about being your motivator. Be deliberate about clapping for yourself where you need to. And also tell yourself to do better where you need to make amends. Don't lie to yourself. A lot of dreams has been shattered because lies were involved. Don't lie to yourself. Tell yourself the truth. Be better. Be intentional about learning. You don't get to give what you don't have. Thank you.
I want to thank everyone who's joined us on the show. If you like what you watched, let's do it again next week, God willing, Saturday, 12 noon to 1 p.m. And don't forget to join me tomorrow, Sunday, at 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. when I'll be here to do the live music program, AROTV Sunday Splash. My name is Ambassador Emmanuel Gabari, and thanking you for joining us. Till I see you. Bye-bye.